They care deeply. They form intense emotional bonds. And yet sometimes, without warning, they disappear. Today, we're diving into the emotional labyrinth of the INFJ personality to answer a question that baffles many. Why do INFJs ghost people they care about? This isn't about malice, it's about self-preservation, inner conflict, and the complex emotional world of one of the rarest personality types in the world. Let's begin. 1. Overwhelmed by emotional intensity. INFJs don't do shallow connections. When they bond, it's deep, all-consuming, and spiritual. But that depth can become a burden. If the emotional intensity gets too high, especially if there's unspoken tension or unreciprocated effort, INFJs may retreat. Not because they don't care, but because it's too much. Their sensitive nervous system needs silence to regulate. Sometimes ghosting is a desperate form of emotional detox. 2. The fear of confrontation. Despite being intuitive feelers, INFJs often avoid conflict at all costs. They hate the idea of hurting others, but ironically, this fear can lead to even more pain through silence. They'll play out every possible confrontation in their heads and imagine it going badly. So instead of speaking up, they disappear quietly, hoping the other person understands without needing explanation. It's not cruelty, it's emotional paralysis. 3. They've already tried in their head. INFJs are internal processors. They replay conversations, analyze behaviors, and imagine different outcomes, all before saying a word aloud. So when they ghost, it's often because they've already had 1,000 imaginary conversations with you in their mind. They may feel like they've said it all, and even though in reality they've said nothing. This makes closure hard for both sides. 4. Protecting their idealism. INFJs see the world through idealistic eyes. They want harmony, deep connection, and authenticity. But when someone they care about violates that ideal through betrayal, dishonesty, or repeated emotional neglect, it can cause a deep internal rupture. Ghosting becomes a symbolic severing of the connection, a way to preserve their inner values even if it breaks their heart to do so. Silent burnout. INFJs are notorious for absorbing other people's emotions. They carry the weight of everyone else's pain, quietly and invisibly. Eventually, they burn out, and when they do, they vanish, not just from one person, but from everyone. If an INFJ ghosts you, it may have nothing to do with you. It may be about their need to retreat, recharge, and recover from emotional exhaustion. 6. They're afraid you won't understand. INFJs are complex. Their reasons are often layered, abstract, and hard to articulate. They may ghost because they think you won't get it, that no matter what they say, you'll misinterpret their intentions or emotions. So instead of risking misunderstanding, they go silent. Not out of apathy, but because the weight of being misunderstood is heavier than being missed. 7. Testing if you'll chase. This one's subconscious, but real. INFJs sometimes disappear to see if you'll follow. Not to play games, but because they want proof that the connection matters to you too. They've often been the chaser, the emotional anchor. Ghosting can be a quiet, painful plea. Will you fight for me the way I fought for you? 8. They don't know how to say goodbye. INFJs hate endings. They grieve relationships long before they officially end, and by the time they ghost, they've already said goodbye in their heart. But they can't bring themselves to speak the final words, so they vanish, hoping that silence will be less painful than closure. Spoiler, it rarely is. 9. They feel guilty. Ironically, ghosting fills INFJs with guilt. They think about it constantly, wonder if they should reach out and replay the what-ifs in their head. But guilt only deepens their silence. They feel like they've already hurt you too much to go back, so they stay gone, even if they still care. 10. It's a cry for help. Lastly, sometimes ghosting is a last-ditch cry for help. They're not asking for rescue, but for space. For someone to see that they're drowning without demanding an explanation. If an INFJ ghosts you and you truly care, consider sending a gentle message. Not to chase, but to let them know you see them, that they're not alone. Sometimes that's all they need. INFJs don't ghost because they don't care. They ghost because they care too much, and that care becomes a burden they don't know how to carry anymore. Understanding their silence isn't easy, but if you can see past the disappearance, you'll realize that behind it lies a soul torn between love, fear, and the desperate need to protect their peace. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, drop a comment below, whether you're an INFJ or someone trying to understand one. And remember, sometimes the ones who vanish the fastest are the ones who felt the most.